Hey, good morning. How you doing? This is Jay coming right back at you with What 5HT channel on YouTube, where we talk about world, health, academia, and times. Glad to be back with you. We appreciate everybody that's been tuning in and taking this journey with us, like we said, journey. And Kay and I, we still working diligently as we continue to tweak certain things we trying to do here as far as editing and just making the channel to where it's a channel that brings good information and quality uh, sound and technology as best we can make it so that you guys can be informed and enjoy and learn from everything that we put out on this channel. We thank you again. Like I say, we're going to be dealing with the 5 H's, or so 5 H's with the truth. It's when the truth is hard, the truth hurts, the truth helps, the truth is healthy, and the truth heals. That's what we're trying to get to. And it's been an interesting turn of events here. I said that I was going to talk about Abraham, but we eventually get there. I just got to keep moving in the direction where I feel like I'm being driven to move. It's like even this the scriptures for all the Bible readers. When we read the Bible, we know it has always been one of the most bestseller books almost every year for the last who knows how many years. But let me tell you something interesting about it. The most popular two books out of the scriptures or the Bible that most people read is the book of Revelation, which a lot of people are they fear it so much, which I don't understand that. But anyway, and the second book would be the book of Genesis. So isn't that pretty interesting once you think about it? You got the book of Genesis, which is the first book. Then you got the book of Revelation, which is the last book. These are the two most popular books that people read. And now you got all this stuff in the middle. So a lot of people can read Genesis and then go to the Revelation. So you read the beginning, you don't quite understand what it's saying, and then you read the ending and you don't quite understand what it's saying. So does it make sense? Do you think you'll understand what's being said in the middle of all of that, those two books? Anyway, where I'm going now is we've been dealing with Noah and the floods and the coming of the flood. We're going to deal with some of the aftermath of the flood. We know Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And they all, migrated to different parts of the earth. And then they were all, in other words, the founders of their own nations, Japheth being the nations of the Gentiles, which you'll find in most of the upper European countries, and then you have Ham, where most of his descendants they occupied all we would say the north part of Africa, up in that area where it rains on over into the Ethiopia and Jerusalem area. And then you got Shem, which did most of the Middle East. You hear about Abraham being in the land of Ur. So all of this is, let me tell you something. It's so much information. It's so much been left out on those Sunday mornings, man, that we get out of those sermons. It's so much information that's being left out because I know a lot of us be having a hard and rough week. So we just want to go and just want somebody to tell us something to make us feel good. And that only lasts so long. That can only last so long. After that, after you start or begin to feel good and after the feeling starts to kind of roll away, what do you do then? What do you do with all this information or the lack of information, I'll say? It's incredible, man. But I can tell you, we have only scratched the surface. I spent a whole lot of time on those Sunday mornings, the first day of the week, and I was getting information, and some of the information was good information. I won't say the different, but a lot of the information was not good information. and like I say, the lack of information, and in some cases, just, you know, things we could actually do without. So we're gonna roll on now. We're gonna keep rolling. I was talking about in the last post like the world events and what people understand. Reason I brought the book of Revelation, because it speaks on at one time it's somewhere we're going to be up under some type of world government. A lot of people say, okay, the Antichrist, and we can go on and on with that. I don't want to go there right now, but just let's concentrate on that world government, where it'll be a one world government that policed the entire world. We talked about the UN and in our last post, and maybe a post or two before that. But isn't it strange? I want to bring something up right quick. And yeah, of course, I'm going to talk about it because, like I say here, we talk about world times, health, and academia. And right now, I'm going to talk about a little world and times, these times that we're in now, in this present world that we are occupying right now. And especially in this country with the turmoil and chaos that's constantly coming up and that we front on a daily basis. We on our way to walking out of a government shutdown, which I think was designed to be a chaos. You can choose whatever side you want. You can say the Republicans were doing it, or you can say the Democrats were doing it. I don't care. All I can say is they both in it together, and it took two parties to come together to make the shutdown go away. So I'm not going to blame one side over the other. I'll let you do that if that's what you like, and that's fine. However, let's talk about Chicago. We know there's been a lot of things going on in Chicago. Also, in like I say, some of the cities like Washington, Memphis, and then we have other countries. Cities here like Portland, Oregon. But we have some results in Memphis, which I'm glad to hear. That's my home city, the city I was born in. We have some results also in Washington, where crime has went down. Some people happy, and strange to say, some people are not so happy because they say they don't like the way it's being done. I'm gonna stay away from that too. Let you make your own mind up about how you feel about that. I just say stop the killing. That's what I say, and find if we don't like the way it's being taken care of, then let us get together and find a way to stop it. Other than that, let's just say, especially if you quote unquote in the church and Christian, you should want to stop the killing. That's all I can say about that one. So let's talk about Chicago. Death everywhere. And it's one of the top leading cities in this nation where people are actually being done away with. So here's the deal here. So we got pushed back from not only the mayor, Brandon, and the governor, Pritzker, which he's trying to have some kind of aspiration to run for that White House in the near future. And they have welcomed and invited the newcomers that came across the borders into the city, and they don't like the way their image in the White House is getting them deported and out of here. And I'm gonna stay away from that too. All I say is, if you break the law, you break the law. You got to pay. My people, we break the law, we have to pay. So that goes for anybody. I don't think anyone is exempt for not having to pay once you break the law. So they are trying to get them to push back. And here we go. We got a Latino group up in Chicago. They could be the one that just came across the border. They could be one that has been established here. I really, really don't know. All I'm saying is they being encouraged to shoot back at federal agents. And a shooting actually just happened, if I'm not mistaken, over a couple of days ago, and like you actually shooting at a federal agent, and the mayor is like actually almost signing off on it, like it's all right to do. And of course, the governor, with his political aspirations to be in the White House in the next term, of course, he want to go with the side of the progressives that say, well, we don't want ICE here. We don't want this here. We don't want that here. And then at the same time, you have citizens saying, well, they have come in our city and taken away all our resources, all the resources that you've given them and given them. We have not even been afforded that, first of all, those resources. And then Even through your promises saying that you was going to give it to us, you never did. You never have, but these people you are. So now you got this chaos back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You're wondering where I'm going with this. Here is where I'm going with this. Let me drop this news on you. We was talking about the UN, right? The UN is a collection of 193 countries around the world that police the world. That is the model in which this world government probably is going to try to get organized. So the mayor of Chicago asked the UN to come in and undo some of the laws that a sitting president in the United States have already enacted, and some of it been signed off on, and some have been approved by the Supreme Court. Whether you like it or not, here's the deal with that. If you got a mayor that's gonna ask the UN, other countries to come in and police our country and tell a sitting president in this country what he can and can't do, I told you we getting closer and closer and closer to that one world government. It's gonna come and it's gonna be here, and there's nothing that's gonna stop it. You can say the Republicans is trying to usher it in, or you can say the Democrats are trying to usher it in. Let me drop this on you right here. Hatred has been made to be widespread for the image that's in the White House right now. So through the hatred that people have for this particular person that's there now occupying that seat, it's been built up to where people are actually willing to do and try new things to come against this administration. And they make it sound good, and they make it look good, and they make it like that's what needs to happen. But I want you to ask yourself this question, and ask the serious question. Do you hate a person so much that only got maybe 3 years left? You hate them so much that you would allow other countries to come in and tell an active administration in our country what they can and what they can't do? If you welcome that, then fine. Get ready to be a citizen of the world. You may as well get rid of that real ID if you just got it for the United States. You may as well get rid of that and get ready to be a citizen of the world, to where we'll be positioned then to have that one world leader that's been prophesied. Through hatred, a lot of things can come to be. And through hatred, you can make decisions that is not at your best interest. Let's get started. I want to talk about something that happened a little bit after the flood. After Ham, Shem, and Japheth put their feet on dry ground from the flood. After all these false doctrines that was flooded throughout the earth, and all these different beliefs and all these different practices, they all went into their own parts of the world, and then with their descendants, and they began to start once again governments. But here is something interesting right here. I want you to see something. I want to talk about the descendant of Ham and Cush. I'm not going to go through all of the reading and just get it all. I want to make a point, and I want to open up with this so we can get an idea of what was going on. I'm in Genesis, the 10th chapter now. We're going to be talking about something very interesting here. Now this is the 10th chapter in the first verse. It said, now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were born sons after the flood, after all of this chaos and turmoil. Now I'm going to jump down to 10 and verse 7, and it reads, and the sons of Cush, Sheba, and Havilah, and Septa, and Ramah, and Septija, and the sons of Ramah, and Sheba, and Dedan, and Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. We heard that word again. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. Almost like the mighty men in Genesis that picked up and went into the sons, into the daughters of men. And verse 9 said, and he was a mighty hunter before the Lord, or the Spirit of the Most High. Wherefore it was said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Ashka, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Now, here's the deal. When you start talking about the generations of Noah, once the flood was subsiding, you talk about all these generations. They talk about the generation of Japheth, and then they start with the generation of Ham. So going through all of these generations, you just get names, so like some of the names I just named, you just get all these strange names, and people say these names are hard to pronounce, and I do agree, but however, do the best you can. You just go through a series of names. But what I found interesting in all these names, from Ham, Japheth, and even Shem, we're not going to read the name, but this is what's interesting. In Genesis 10 and 7, when it got to the 7th verse and it started talking about Cush, it paused. It paused with all the names and the generations and who begot who and who begot what and all of this. And it said something. And it said just what I just read to you. It said in the 8th verse, it said, and Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. And he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it was said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. It got to Cush and Nimrod. When it got to Nimrod, it stopped, and it elaborated on Nimrod. And if this makes any sense to you, just think about a person that has they have kids. I mean, let's say they have 6, 7, 8 kids or whatever, and they start naming kids, and they like, this is so and so, and this is so and so, and this is so and so, and then they say this is so and so, and then they stop right there and say this is so and so, and he this, he that, he this, he that, he this, he that, and then this is so and so, and this is so and so, and so and so. When they paused and stopped at the one and started explaining all of the things or the characteristics or the attributes that they might have, they was highlighting some about that particular kid. Same thing here with Nimrod. Same thing here with Nimrod. Scripture paused and talked about him, and it said he was a mighty hunter. He began to be what? A mighty one in the earth. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. Okay, would it be one of those men of their own persuasion, with their own thoughts and ideals? And they say he was a mighty hunter. Now I'm gonna tell you where I saw that. When I was I'm gonna show you the way I viewed that mighty hunter. The first thing to come to your mind is, wow, he was out hunting animals, and he was this, and he was that, and he was this. So those are the things that we make to be, because these are the visuals that we have, especially when we think about a hunter. When we think about hunting, we always think that there is some type of animal involved. But let's say this. He was a mighty hunter. A hunter of what? Some would say animals. Well, we'll get back to that. Okay, now we're going to go to Genesis 11. And we're going to read a little bit and we're going to see what happened here, okay? In Genesis 11, we still elaborating on Nimrod, the son of Cush, okay, who was the son of Ham, who was the son of Noah. These are these Ham particularly, he settled in, like I said, the northern Africa part, you know, the Egypt, the Ethiopia, the Libya, and all of that, you know. So these are he was the Nimrod, the descendant of him. So you're going to look at that particular area, and this what happened. It say this is Genesis 11:1. It say in the whole world was with one language and one speech. They was all with one language and one speech. They understood each other. They was on the same page. You know, whatever was said, whatever was said, you get this. Amen. That means I agree. No matter what was said, amen. I agree. We all with one language and one speech. We on the same page. Like the scriptures say, get with one accord. These people were with one accord. Not on one accord, they were with one accord. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Shinar. That's where they stopped, and they dwelt there in Shinar. So, Shinar is, in the Hebrew meaning, this land, Shinar, it's a representation. It's like watch of him that is asleep. So they actually settle in a place where it says you watch him that is asleep. Asleep. What are they asleep from? What is it? I'm just asking a question. Yeah. And now we're going to go to the 3rd verse of the 11th chapter. He said, and they said one to another, go, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. They had brick for stone, and slime they had for mortar. And they said, go, and let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Come, let us go and let us build a city and a tower. A tower representing the image, or the image of God, not the Most High God, just the image of a God. The tower, because you know, when on those Sunday mornings, once again, when we heard these type of events that was preached on or elaborated on over the pulpit, when we looked at the tower, the first thing we envisioned in our minds, here we go again, we visual creatures, and we can only go out what we think we know and see. So we envision in this tower that towers all the way up to the heavens. And, you know, I used to say to myself, like, wow, that was interesting, man. It's like they were actually building a tower up to heaven, and they almost did it. And I'm like, come on. Make some sense out of that. Oh, yeah, I believe, because once again, that's all we did. We believed what we were told, and we just tried to envision it. But make some sense out of it, because I sat there and tried to make some sense out of it. And the older I got, the less sense it made. A tower, actually an actual, literal, tangible tower made of brick that can tower up to the heavens. And who's to say where heaven is? It's up there where? So up there where? Wherever it is, that's where you're building the tower to somewhere that you don't even know where you're going? Okay, so now let's say it again. Tower is a representation of an image, or the image of a God. So what he is saying is, they said, go, let us build us a city or a God. whose top might reach into the heavens. Right here. Let's build us a God in our minds. Let's build us a God in our minds. And let us make a name. Let us make a name. Or a way. Remember the name, or a way. We're gonna build this God, this tower, and then we're gonna make our way. The way we believe. The way we see. Remember, Nimrod was what? A mighty hunter. I asked the question then, a hunter of who or what? Sounds like he was a hunter of men. Not literally to take their physical life, but to take their spiritual lives and beliefs. He was a mighty hunter of men. He was a mighty man. He was persuasive. He was able to persuade people, bring them together. Let us get this brick and mortar. And the mortar is the mind. It's the representation of the mind. See what I'm saying? And the brick is nothing but an image. It's of the image. Whatever that image is that they're trying to get to, that's the brick and the mortar. The mortar is of the mind. Or ways of understanding. Mortar, ways of understanding. See, here we go again. Kay and I was talking, and she said, "Are you serious?" She said, "Are we right back at the same place again?" I say, like always, throughout scripture. We right back at the beginning. Remember? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was what? Void. Formless darkness on the face of the deep. It was chaotic. He called it back into order, gave it to man, gave it to Adam, told him to take charge. Adam fell, and then all of a sudden, here we go. The mighty men saw that the daughters of men had them, and there we go. Men thinking wicked is wicked constantly. We fell right back to chaos again. Then he brought Noah along because he had, Noah gained favor with him through his obedience. He did this thing that the Most High told him to do, and they brought the flood and all of that, and it got rid of all these people with all these stupid, crazy beliefs and all of that was getting them nowhere because they was fighting against the Most High. That's what had to be going on. It's a war, a constant war, a battle going on between good and evil, light and darkness. You know what I'm saying? It's a constant war. Even the war that's inside of us, what the spirit and the flesh is constantly war. It's a war. And now all of a sudden, when the floods succeed and Ham, Shem, and Japheth go into their own places and start their own nations, here come Nimrod with that mess again. and Kelsey say, "Don't tell me we about to go right back to chaos." I say, yeah, and it's all within the confines of the first 11 books. We haven't even gotten through Genesis. Can you see this reoccurring thing of man trying to make a way, his own ideas, his own thoughts, the way that he understands most, the way that he want to most accept? Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad all over the earth. It's Nimrod, that mighty hunter of men. Now he persuaded a whole nation of people. They all with one language, one tongue. They all with the same accord. They all say, let's do this thing. Let us make a God. Okay. It said, I'm going to go back to 11 to 4. And they said, go, let us build us a city and a tower for this image of our God, whose top may reach into the heavens. And let us make a name or way, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord, or the Spirit of God, came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men built. Here we go again. The Spirit of the Most High God came down to see this image. In which what? The who? the children of men built. Remember the mighty men, the daughters of men. Now here we go with the children of men. They built this thing in their on the inside, in their hearts and their mind, you know. And then hear what verse 6 said, 11 and 6. It said, and the Lord or the Spirit of God said, behold, the people is one. And they have all one language, one thought, one idea. And this they began to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Did you hear that? This is the power that the Creator has given his creation, being the type of man or Adam made in his likeness and his image. Once they became one with one thought, one central goal, in which we are here today again. That's why I open up like I open up. When you got a group of people with one thought, one goal, the Spirit of God say, what did he say? He say, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. If I don't go down and do something about this, everything they have imagined to do, they're going to get it done. I have given them that ability. They're going to get it done. They're thinking with one mind, one speech. They got one thought. And they're working toward that goal. And they will get it done. If we don't restrain them, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing that they cannot get done that they imagine to do. Because they are one. One thought. One world thought. One world government. One world leader, the mighty hunter. One world goal. One world goal. We're going to get there. So what happened? Genesis 11 and 7 said, go to. Let us go down. And there confound their language, that they may not understand another's speech. Let's go down here now and create us some chaos. Let's go break this up. Let's confound them. Let's make them confused. They don't understand each other anymore. They don't get along anymore. Yeah, let's do that. And then 8 said, so the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. They stopped. Their language was confounded. They stopped. They didn't understand each other no more. They had to break it off. And they left off from building that city. They left off from building that city. Yeah. I've had somebody say to me once, it's been years ago, they said, who was it that determined that Nimrod was evil? It doesn't say anywhere in the scripture where Nimrod was evil. It doesn't say it in the scripture where it says he was evil. What it does is just, it talks about his actions. I can tell you I love you all day long. You would never know I really love you unless I showed you. Because if I tell you I love you and I'm doing something different, those two don't come together. So it's the actions. Sometimes things doesn't have to be said. You can just look at the action of the person. That's all you have to do. So no, it doesn't literally say that Nimrod was evil, but for the Spirit of God to have to come down and make a change, because whatever they were doing, it wasn't lining up. And we see what it was. They were building a tower or image of a god. They was replacing the Creator, whom he came and made them in his likeness and his image, until they were deceived by that double-tongued man in the garden that spoke lies and truth, and they learned his ways, and they learned his works, and now here we are. It says, so the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build a city. I'm gonna tell you something. I want you to go somewhere else, because we know something was going on, and whatever it was, we know the Most High did not like it. So let's. I want to read something to you here. I want to read. I'm going to Luke now. I'm going to Luke, the first chapter, and I'm going to read verse 50 and 51, and maybe 52. And it says this: and his mercy on them that feared him from generation to generation. Maybe we should read 49, Luke 1:49. For he that is mighty has done to me great things, and holy is his name, for his mercy is on them that fear him from generation to generation. He has showed strength, and his arm, he has scattered the proud in the imagination of their heart. He has put down the mighty from their seats and exalted them of a lower degree. See there? That's what was going on. It said his mercy on them that fear him from generation to generation. Those are the ones that fear him. Then it said he has showed strength with his arm. He has scattered the proud in the imagination of their hearts. See? They figure they can just do what they want. So what happens to the proud? They get scattered. When the Most High deal with you, he take you away from whatever that is. Yeah, and he scattered them from the imagination of the heart. And he said he has put down the mighty from their seats, the ones that's in high places. Those ones that actually control and rule things. And we always think it's some image, man, whether it be some king, or whether it be some president, or whether it be some dignitary or an ambassador, whatever it is, we always want to make it some single man, like the image in our White House. We always want to make it that. That ain't what it is. It's big. Look, those people don't have power. It's no way you can have power. It's no way that they can allow you to run something for 4 to 8 years and you have complete control and power over it. Be for real. Be for real. Think consciously. Just be for real. There is an unseen force that has been in charge since Nimrod, and it still works today. It still works today. Yes, it does. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Just another generation and new faces. Same spirit. Just another generation, new faces, same spirit. Can't get away from it. By no means can you get away from it. You can try all you like. Hey, do your best. If we write back to Genesis 11, I'm going to read the 9th verse. To say, therefore, in the name of all, if therefore is the name of it called BABEL. We're talking about the place where they was erecting the tower. And the tower, even in its natural form, let's just say the natural, I told you about the spiritual. It's like an image of God's. Okay, even the tower within its image, in ancient biblical days or in ancient times, I'm not going to even say biblical days, even predate that. They were called actually ziggurats, and a ziggurat is a monument or a tower or some kind of it's some kind of structure that men built in those days, and they would go up and do all these strange pagan worship.
The Tower of Babel is a legendary structure that is said to have been built in ancient Babylon sometime after the Great Flood. The story goes that a group of united people who all spoke the same language decided to build a tower that would reach up to the heavens. The tower was meant to be a symbol of their power and a way to make a name for themselves. But was it really that massive, such that it could reach the skies? Some accounts suggest that it reached nearly 300 feet. There are also many different theories about what the Tower of Babel might have looked like and how it was built. Some historians believed that it may have been a ziggurat, a type of stepped pyramid that was commonly used in ancient Mesopotamia. Others suggest that it may have been a multi-story temple or palace.
And they would sacrifice kids unto the other gods. That's actually what they were doing. When they say you send your children through the fire, this is just a small sample of what I'm saying. But anyway, the ziggurats, that's where they did all of their sacrifice and pagan worshiping to other gods. And they sacrificed animals, they sacrificed people, they mostly sacrificed kids because they figured children were pure. And that's what goes on. So it says the name was called Babel because we heard of it, the Tower of Babel, or confound or confused. This is where the people, when they all came together as one, the Spirit of the Most High came down and confused them and got them off target, and they actually dispersed all over the earth because the Lord did there confound their language of all the earth. And from this did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. That's what happened. That's what went on there. That's what happened. So we had a group of people coming together to do their thing up under a mighty hunter, a man with his own thoughts, his own arrogance, and persuading in his own in the imagination of his own heart, persuading people which way to go. You should believe this. You should believe that. You should do this. You should do that. And we're going to create ourselves a new God, because to me right now, I'm going to be your God. So we go into that again in the one world government that we'll soon have. Nimrod tried right then. It didn't quite happen. We was at the brink of it, but I'm going to tell you like this here. Even I'm going to show you that same spirit. Remember I told you what I just said? What I just said? It's the same agenda. It's just new faces, but the same spirit. I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to show you how this works. Nimrod, when you do the study on Nimrod, his supposedly anniversary, which he was actually murdered and taken away, and it was gruesome. They was claimed that to get rid of him because he was such a force, they actually dismembered him and scattered his body parts all over the place, so he would never be found. So prior to that, his so-called wife supposed to have a son named Tamu. But anyway, Nimrod's celebration or his anniversary is on an interesting day. The day that his anniversary, it happens to be December the 25th. And I'm not picking at anyone. I'm just giving you information. And I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to give you the information that you're not going to get in the building, because the building is failing. And I'm going to keep saying that, and may not like it, and that's fine. You know, I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that. But you take the information I give you And you do your own research, because if the builder not giving it to you, if you think it's important, you need to know, then just find out. I'm not asking you to make any decision about what you do when it comes to that. We all got to make this journey ourselves. We're responsible for what we do in this shell. This spirit that's inside us, this energy that's inside of us, that never dies, we're responsible. So you make whatever decision. But anyway, like I was saying, Nimrod anniversary is actually December the 25th, where it's claimed that Nimrod will visit an evergreen tree and he will leave gifts up under it. This is their pagan tradition and belief in Mesopotamia, ancient Mesopotamia. This is documented now. So like I say, and now we're talking about the Assyrian culture, which actually predates a lot of stuff in Egypt. I'm just giving you the information. Now, the son Tammuz was supposed to be Nimrod reincarnation, as if he's supposed to have been born of a virgin. Think about it now. Nimrod's wife was impregnated because Nimrod's spirit came down and impregnated her, and he had this son called Tammuz. And Tammuz was he suffered a tragic death when he was a child. You know, he was mauled by a wild boar or a pig. So they buried him up under an evergreen tree, which is somewhat of a Christmas tree. And his favorite animal happens to be a rabbit. See, I'm taking you somewhere. I just want you to know that this same spirit is active and operate even in our lives today up undercover because of our lack of knowledge, our lack of understanding, and lack of information. We just get stuff and we take it, and we don't even know that we dealing in all these pagan things, and then we find a reason to make it all right. And then you know it's not all right. The Most High, we be reading it all the time. He don't do that. But we do. We do it. You know, we with that one language. We listen to Nimrod. We got one language. We speaking with one language upon one understanding. We gonna do this. You ain't gotta like it until he come down again and cause some actions on this planet that we live in this time today. Yes, my Gen Zers. Yes, my millennials. Let's keep it real. What I just said to you was Nimrod supposedly anniversary is on December the 25th, in which actually Tammuz was supposed to be born on December the 25th. What did I tell you about him? He was mauled by a wild pig. A boar is a wild pig. He was buried next to an evergreen tree, a Christmas tree, where Nimrod supposed to come and yearly on the anniversary and put gifts up under that tree. And Tammuz's favorite animal was a rabbit. What is that? Okay, mauled by a wild boar or a pig. Easter, bunny, rabbits, fertility. It's a fertility god. Tammuz. What do we have on Easter? Ham, wild boar. I'm just going to lay it out to you. What else did we talk about Easter? I'm not talking about no resurrection and all that. We ain't even going there. I'm telling you what predates what you say a resurrection. So now, rabbits. What? Fertility. Easter. Tammuz. Nimrod. Even Nimrod riddled throughout history right now. Nimrod's spirit is actually, it has been renamed to Baal. And I know when you go to church, you know about Baal because all you hear about is Baal. So whenever you're talking about Baal in our time, in ancient Mesopotamia, you're talking about Nimrod. That's the spirit of Baal. Nimrod spirit is the spirit of Baal that God talks about, the Most High talks about riddled throughout the scripture. So now that's not hidden from you. I'm dropping something on you, and I'm doing it because I'm trying to get you in a place And I'm not badgering no particular denomination, so don't get mad at me if you're a Christian and you go to the building. Don't get mad at me if you're a Muslim. Well, you won't be too mad if you're a Muslim because you don't celebrate Easter, for number one. I don't know if you celebrate Christmas. You probably don't celebrate that. And I know you don't eat ham. So Muslim might be all right. And then as far as Judaism, you know what's up. You know what's up. It's just my Christian community is one that's been taken down this rabbit hole. So what do you want to talk about? Let me show you something. I told you about Tammuz, right? Tammuz, which is supposed to be Nimrod reincarnated through his wife, which his spirit came down. It was the moon. He's supposed to be the moon god. Here we go again. Don't get mad with me, Islam. Don't get mad with me. Don't get mad with me. You get mad with history. That's what you do. You get mad with history. So anyway, back to what I was saying, Tammuz. Let's talk about Tammuz. I need you to go to Ezekiel. Go to Ezekiel 8, and let's start at the 13th verse, okay? We're going to Ezekiel, the 8th chapter, and the 13th verse. Because I just said something about Nimrod. We know we just read about Nimrod. And then when I said something about Tammuz, you like, well, Tammuz, okay, then, I mean, what does that relate to us? What does he mean to us? Or what does he mean? You just throwing some names out there. Okay, since I'm throwing some names out there, since I'm just throwing names out there, let's deal with Tammuz. Can we deal with Tammuz for a minute? Can we? Okay, number one, his Hebrew, the meaning of his name means concealed or consumed. That's Tammuz. It's concealed or consumed. It's a Mesopotamia god. Right. Okay. And now let's deal with Tammuz. Ezekiel 8, the 13th. It's chapter 8 and the 13th verse. He said unto me, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than they do. Okay? He talking about his people now. He talking about the people that's supposed to be following him. And this is the Most High, the Spirit of God. This is the Spirit of God speaking to Ezekiel. He said also unto me, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations they do. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord, or the Spirit of God, house which was toward the north. And behold, there was a woman weeping for Tammuz. Okay. Okay. I told you we dealing with the spirit. This spirit hadn't went anywhere. What do you think? You think it's just diminished? You think all of a sudden it just disappeared, dissipated? It's the same spirit that's working in people today. It's the same spirit. It's working in people today with the same objective, with the same goal. Wake up. Don't sleep. Shinar. Nimrod went settled in the city of Shinar. What did I say Shinar mean? Watch of him that is sleep. Get out of Shinar. Quit sleeping. Why'd you sleep? Wake up. I'm sorry. I'm that's something else too. I been hearing myself. I got to quit blowing into the mic. Sometimes that's I don't know, man. It aggravates me when I hear it. So I'm gonna have to work on that. So if it aggravates me, it probably aggravates somebody else, and that's the last thing I want to do here. Okay, we were talking about Tammuz, right? The reincarnated Nimrod, right? Being impregnated with his wife as the moon god. She came down and impregnated him. She had Tammuz. Tammuz suffered a tragic death. He was mauled by a wild boar or a pig. He was buried up on the evergreen tree. And this is his anniversary yearly. Nimrod come down and put gifts up under the tree. And Tammuz's favorite animal was a rabbit. The spirit hasn't went anywhere. It's just mixed and mingled in with what you believe. The Council of Nicaea, Constantine, Rome. I'm going to take some of their beliefs and some of our beliefs and mix it all in together. That way I can keep what I call the Christian community, which was actually the apostolic movement. I can take the Christian community, which I'm calling them Christians now, and I can marry it in with some of our Roman culture and pagan beliefs, and we can make all this stuff work. Nimrod, December the 25th. Jesus, Joshua, December the 25th. I ain't even started talking about the resurrection. I just showed you about Tammuz. I'm going to read it, and then we're going to try to close this down. I'm going to go right back. Ezekiel 8, 13th verse. He said unto me, talking to Ezekiel, the Spirit of God, turn ye yet again, and thou shalt see a greater abomination that they do. That lets you know he ain't happy with what you doing. Intermingling with that mess. Stop it. And then he brought me to the door, the gate of the Lord house, which was toward the north. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Women run the building. And then said he unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these. See there? They were doing it then, and we doing it now. He told Ezekiel this, come on, turn. This is a vision Ezekiel you're going through. And the Spirit of the Most High God is showing him and guiding him. And he said, turn and look again. I already told you about greater abomination they're doing. Now they're going to do even greater abomination. He's talking about us. We still with it. Weeping for Tammuz. Weeping for that spirit. Weeping for that spirit of Baal, that spirit of Nimrod. Through your celebrations. Through your beliefs, your cultural beliefs, your United States cultural beliefs. I get it. Been there, done that, a part of it and all of it. Never really understood it anyway. Why you tell me one thing and then say, well, it don't matter. Well, we know he wasn't, but it don't matter. This is what we do. That sounds like Nimrod. It don't matter. That's what we do. We ain't talking about what the Most High want us to do. We just got the flood just succeeded, and now we're gonna do our own thing once again. We don't care about no flood. We're going to make sure that a flood won't take us away no more. So we're going to build us a tower to heaven. Brandon Johnson, mayor of Chicago, all those deaths in your city, the chaos in your city, yes, change some more laws. Invite the UN into our country. Invite the UN so they can take siege and tell the image in the White House what he can and can't do. Open the door for that and see that it close. I keep telling you, we on our way to something big. Nimrod, a mighty hunter. A hunter of who? A hunter of men. To get them with that same belief. A hunter of men. That's what Nimrod and who Nimrod. He was a hunter before the Lord. I'm the Lord thy God. I'm a jealous God. Thou shalt not have any God before me. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Nimrod was a mighty hunter before the Spirit of the Most High God. Thou shalt not have no other God before me. He didn't say it wasn't no other gods. He didn't say it wasn't no other gods. So you can get off that tip right there. There's some more gods that you can unite with. Anyway, I'm thinking I'm probably going to keep moving through Genesis. Because here's the deal. Since Genesis and Revelations are the two most popular books in the scriptures, and I know a lot of people read it, the question was asked, understandest thou what I read? That's what the question was asked. Mm-hmm. Philip asked that question to the Ethiopian eunuch that was walking. He had a gift. He had a gift he wanted to present to Christ, to Yeshua, not knowing Yeshua was gone. He was reading out of the book of Isaiah. And the question was asked, understandest thou what I read? And he said, how could I understand unless someone or a man teach me? It's a whole lot we don't know. The more we go, the further we go, the more deception I see that's going on in this day and time and getting unveiled, it's getting revealed and unveiled by the Spirit of the Most High God. I thank Him for which way He lead. It sometimes can become stressful. It can become weighty. Everybody's not gonna go. Everybody's not gonna believe, and that's fine with me. I feel the responsibility to put the information out there and not sit on it. I've been sitting on it too long, so long. How can I say I love my brother if I don't see he's in need and don't try to help or share? So that's where I am now. It's so much, and it's a lot right now. Like I say, I appreciate you all taking this journey with Kay and I. It's a lot I won't even reveal or show or even talk about, because it's just like coming up when you're young. As a kid, you don't feed children right away the food that their body's not ready for and can't digest. Because some of this stuff that I know I talk about, a lot of people no, they probably don't like it, and it's all right. I didn't like beans. I didn't like greens. I didn't like spaghetti. I eat all of that now because it's good for me. It's healthy. And most of the stuff that's healthy for you, you don't like it anyway. So that's fine. It's all right. I'm going to continue to share. Appreciate you all tuning in so much. I'm trying to slow it down and make it make sense so where you understand exactly what this thing is, and that you understand one thing for sure. We look at scripture and like to point our finger at what they did and how they act. Greater abominations is going on right now. And the Spirit of the Most High God told Ezekiel, turn around. I'm going to show you even greater abominations. You talking about them people, those women weeping for Tammuz? Weeping, literally crying for Tammuz, that spirit. Help us. The Most High God is great. He's given us a mind to think with and use. We want to do it with, like LaSure did it, with a Christ consciousness. That's the way we want to do it. That same spirit, if that same spirit dwelling in you, it's right here. There ain't no tower getting built to no heavens, no building getting built up there. You know, come on, preachers. Come on, pastors. Do some real work, man. Put the work in. Quit thinking about money all the time. You can't take it with you. But that spirit, that energy that's inside of you, it goes. It goes before. You got to stand before someone and give an account for that. People talk about reincarnation and all that. I don't care what. At the end of the day, you're going to reap what you did in this shell that covers that spirit. You're going to reap that thing. It's coming back at you. Yes. Just like you download a computer and get all the information that was put in it. You press that button, you can download all that information that was put in that computer, or you can upload it, whichever way it go. The brain The mind, a computer. A lot of energy up here. It houses stuff. Most High push that button, download everything that you did and said. We going there. We will be there. Be careful about the decisions you make and the people you follow in this day and age. Hate can make you make really, really bad decisions. Hate is a killer of both the body and the spirit. Having said that, y'all get back with us. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button. And Kay and I going to be doing it again. And her wonderful work in her editing, and we just going to keep moving. And until we see you again, like I always say, what the flux.